Hello everyone, welcome back, and what a month September has been. You haven't seen a lot of reviews from me because I've been so busy actually watching shows that I haven't had time to film what I've been watching to let you know what you should be watching. So hopefully I will get that cleared up. I actually plan on making a video for all the best things I watched in September because September may have been the best month of TV watching I've ever had. The evidence will show and make my case when you watch my videos. So very important, before we begin, hit that subscribe button. Might as well start with a thumbs up because I know you're going to love this one. Today we're going to discuss the first 3 episodes of Andor. I'll try to make this one as spoiler-free as possible. First, we need to ask the question, what is the show Andor? If you watch Rogue One, one of the stars was Cassian Andor, and this is basically his origin story. Now, you're probably thinking, why do I care about Cassian Andor? There are so many other cool Star Wars characters out there. Well, he might be one of the coolest. This show is a straight-up spy thriller set in the darkest of dark times, right when the Empire has taken over. And I have found that Star Wars is at its absolute best when it sticks to really dark storylines. There's been a ton of great hype for this show. I try not to see any reviews before I watch anything, but I did of course see the quick, this person thinks this is the greatest Star Wars ever. This is the best Star Wars we've had from Disney. And I think it's great. I don't think it's for everyone though. So my family is a big Star Wars fan besides me, and we watch them together. This one we started watching, and usually it's a foursome at minimum with my wife and my 2 sons, and absolutely none of them are watching the show anymore. That's part of the reason it took a while to get the review out, because I had to wait to watch it with them, and about halfway through the first episode, my youngest, he decided he was done with it, so he's 11. My 13-year-old, he's unsure. He might watch it. He only watched 1 episode, and he's still on the fence. And my wife made it an episode, and then halfway through the second was like, I'm done. They've lost me. This isn't what I signed up for. And just for reference, she did not like Rogue One either. So if you're a big fan of Rogue One, I think this is hands down easily for you. I think I realized why Disney released all 3 episodes. If they had released 1 episode and then I had to wait another week, that might have left a pretty sour taste in my mouth. It's a very slow-moving story. Even the second episode it's very much working on character development, especially for our lead, Andor, who's played by Diego Luna. If you've ever seen him in Narcos Mexico, he does a great job. He's an actor I really enjoy. And at first, he's on a mission. We're trying to see... we don't know what he's looking for. But he has something he needs to sell, and it kind of looks like he's not sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy. In fact, my son asked, so wait a minute, is he good or bad? And I guess it's if you're an Empire sympathizer, maybe you'll think he's a bad guy. If you're on the side of rebellion, then you'll probably think he's a good guy. And so this really is him getting recruited into the rebellion because he is really good at stealing things and playing the 2-person game of I'm this guy, no, I'm this guy. And that was all comes to a head in the 3rd episode. The first 2 episodes, you're learning his backstory. In fact, you go back all the way to his childhood, and you learn a little bit about what he went through and why he hates the Empire so much. And I think that's important because we're really getting to the beginning of the story. Sometimes these shows just rush through. And this wasn't a character that I think you walked away from Rogue One thinking, oh my God, that's the greatest character I've ever seen. So I think they had some work to do to lay the groundwork to make us care about the character, and which I do. I'm hooked on the show. And then it gets to an explosive finale of the 3rd episode. Now, I kind of felt like that was the first act in that kind of the story they started with those 3 episodes is pretty much done. As the 3rd episode ends, they're heading off into what I think is going to be an exciting, I think it's 9 more episodes, 12 episodes total. And they've already greenlit season 2. So it sounds like we're going to get this story in the totality of how the writers wanted to show us. Star Wars fans are funny. They love to hate Star Wars. And I've read some pretty positive posts from people just commenting on the movie, seeming that they really like it. It's not getting any of the backlash some of the movies got. But I think that Star Wars fans are really broken down into, you got the dark, love the mythology Star Wars. And I think another section is really, I love the action, action, action. I think that's where my wife is. And I think that's why she loved all the movies. And she loves Mandalorian. This show just is not for her whatsoever. So if you're more of an action-oriented person, this show might not actually be for you. This might not live up to the hype that all the quick reviews are billing the show as the best thing since Rogue One. Now, and I think a good litmus test is if you didn't enjoy Rogue One, because that was kind of a slow burn too. There was some great action sequences, but it took a while to get from point A to point B, which is sort of where this show is headed. If you are, and I think Empire Strikes Back, that's a pretty dark tale. There is a lot of action, but there's a lot of character building in that. And I think if you love Empire Strikes Back, you're going to love the dark tone. I mean, everything is pretty much gray. In the first scene, it's just raining, so it looks like it's miserable. And everybody in these worlds look miserable. Now, in the third episode, we start to see a glimpse of the rebellion, and it really gets my blood pumping watching all these little plot points play out in the third episode as we're getting ready to, basically it feels like it's about to pop off and we're gonna have a war right there. And that's what I loved about the show, is it built it up for me. It wasn't just a lightsaber battle right off the bat. It wasn't there's no starship battles coming up. And this was really, I can't stress it enough, you were learning, trying to figure out why is Andor so afraid. There's also a little rift. Seems like the Empire is pretty new. There's disagreements on how to even handle Andor from the Empire's side. And, they are, if you've seen the trailer, they are really operating from a sense of far superiority from everybody else. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to rate this one. I'm going to give it an A. It's going to get the Gambit Paw of approval. Now, I'd love to hear what you think. Is this the best thing Disney Plus has done with Star Wars? Are you like my wife and feel like this should be more of a action-oriented show and you're not really digging this? I'd like to hear from you. Now, I'm going to try my best to keep up with this show and do weekly releases. I can't promise anything because we've got a few other shows that I also love to watch, to talk about. But I'll do my best. And if you like this video and I get a lot of views, then I'm definitely going to try to keep going with that momentum. But like I mentioned in the opening, I do have a best of September video that I'm working on. We got one more week, so I want to see if anything else great comes out. So the good news is, after you hit subscribe and click the notifications button, you'll know when that video comes out. And if you haven't watched my videos before, there's one thing I always say, and it really is important that you know this, is that when you watch my videos, you'll find something to brag about.